Hello and welcome to Sports Update. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. It's actually a lovely Thursday evening where we have a lot of sports stories making the rounds in the world of sports. And we'll be starting with UFC. That is, when we talk about UFC, you know, it's a mixed martial art. And we brought this particular story to you just days back. And now Israel Adesanya, after reviewing his action, he has come out to say he is sorry. He has tendered unreserved apology to his fans, to the country as a whole, because he knew what he did is an offense in that particular country, and when you commit such an offense, you will actually face the penalty for that. And he has come out to apologize that he is sorry for his action for drinking and driving, and after being charged with that offense, and he has pleaded guilty to it, he is going to face either 3 months jail term, or he will be fined. He was going to pay a heavy fine, and you know, when it is a heavy fine, it involves a lot of money. So for Israel Adesanya, he is now remorseful of his action. He has come out to say he is sorry for doing that. We know he lost his match, his fight to Strickland, and that must have prompted his action by drinking and driving. And you know, in that particular country, not just New Zealand alone, if you are found guilty of such an offense, it's either you go to jail or you pay a fine. And for Israel Adesanya, being a superstar, being a public figure, being an international recognition person, being a man of his own world as it stands right now, and you know, a superstar of that matter, if you are found wanting, and definitely you are going to face the penalty. But for him, he now feels sorry for his action, and that is why he has come out to apologize publicly by saying he is sorry for drinking and driving, which Israel Adesanya himself knows that he's going to go to jail or he's going to pay the fine. So whichever one the court decide, is going to face the penalty for drinking and driving. So for Israel Adesanya, it's a good one coming in from this man for actually apologizing. It takes another thing for you to know that you are wrong, and it takes another thing for you to take the fall and then accept your mistakes. Now he has accepted his wrong and mistake, and he has come to know that, okay, what I did was very wrong, by issuing this public apology to his fans and everybody that actually believed in him. I also believe in Israel Adesanya because he's a Nigerian. No matter what, maybe adopted in New Zealand, he still has this Nigerian blood, and he's always proud of his heritage. Whenever he's into the octagon, you see him with the green and white flag, always flying it high out there, despite representing New Zealand, but he never forgets where he comes from. Israel Adesanya, I personally accept your apology, and I believe every other of your fan out there will also accept your apology. But you know, it's an offense, and there's no ignorance in law. When you commit an offense, the law will actually catch up with you, not the way we do things in this climate, in this part of the world. In Nigeria, if you are drinking and driving, nobody stops you. Even the person that will stop you might also be on the same level with you. So for Israel Adesanya, he's sorry for doing that. Okay, let's leave the UFC, let's leave Israel Adesanya and go straight to the NFF. Now, one man has retained his job as the coach of the Falconets, that is Danjuma. Christopher Danjuma has been retained as Falconets head coach. This man has been doing fantastic job with the Falconets. They got to the quarterfinals of the last Under-20 Women's World Cup, where we lost to Netherlands. And then in 2014, we were finalists. In 2011, we were finalists of the Under-20 World Cup. That was the time of Desire Paranoze and Asisa Toshuala, where we got to to 2 finals. We played against Germany and we lost both finals. But this time, he has retained his job. He has been retained as the Falconets head coach. And for Chris Danjuma, he's a fantastic coach, a man who has been in charge of the Super Falcons for some time before, a couple of occasions where the Falcons had no coach. But now he's going to be remaining with the Falconets, at least steering the ship there to remain as the coach, and where they will be preparing themselves for the under 20 African Cup of Nations. They will be playing the qualifiers, and he will be assisted by former under-20 and under-17 guest coach Mansur, Abdullahi, and former Super Falcons midfielder Effioanwan, Ekpo. These 2 coaches will be assisting Christopher Danjuma as the under-20 coach. That is for the women, the Falconets. Now, not for the male side. We know that the male side is being it's by this man from Niger State that is heading that. But for the under-20 women's team of Nigeria, the Falconets, Christopher Danjuma will continue as the head coach, to be assisted by Mansur, Abdullahi, and Ekpo, a former Super Falcons player who was there in 2010 for the Super Falcons, and a good one for Christopher Danjuma after he led the Falconets to the quarterfinals in the last time out in the under-20 World Cup, where we lost to Netherlands. It was a painful defeat for the Falconets. I remember Esther Inejize in that Sebastian in that group, but at the end of the day, we lost out in the quarterfinals. But for Christopher Danjuma, he will continue with the side, with the Falconets, and then let's see how he can lead the Falconets to the under-20 African Women's Nations Cup. And if we get to the final or semi-final bet, we will pick the World Cup ticket, and that is what it is. The NFF thought it wise to allow this man to continue with that side, and it's a good one. You know, changing of coaches is not too good for any national side. And let's go straight to Cairo. Let's go to CAF, where the big one happened. Nigeria also lost out in this. Nigeria and Benin lost out in this. They were also thinking and hoping if they can get the hosting right, but right now Morocco has been given the nod to host the 2025 AFCON, that is the African Cup of Nations, after the next one that will happen in Cote d'Ivoire next year. We know why it's happening next year, because of the weather condition of Ivory Coast. It was moved from 2023 to 2024, and that is why we're having it in 2024. And after 2024, we are going to have the 2025 Nations Cup, that is AFCON, in Morocco. So it's coming back to back. By 2025, we'll go back to the original 2 years gap of having the Nations Cup. And 2027 will be the turn of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. That is the East Africa. So Nigeria actually bidded for these two hosting right, these 2 years, to host the 2025 and 2027 AFCON. But at the end of the day, right there in Cairo on Wednesday, they lost the hosting right to Morocco, and they also lost to Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda, the East African countries. And for Nigeria and Benin Republic, they have to also come back to the drawing board, put their acts together, and see how they can bid. After 2027, we're going to be having the AFCON in 2029. So maybe by then, Nigeria will have the opportunity, or must have put everything in place to host the 2029 AFCON. So they should not rest. They should keep on bidding and bidding. And for Morocco, a good one. After they hosted the Women's Nations Cup, they hosted the World, in the space of 1 year, 12 months, they hosted 2 big events. They hosted the Women's Nations Cup, and they hosted the FIFA Club World Cup. So for Morocco, they are now becoming the home of CAF, where all events is being taken to. So it's a good one when you have the facilities, when you have the right administrators in place. What do you expect? You always smile to the bank. And we know hosting a competition actually brings development to a country, increase the economy. You know, when fans are coming in, players, they come in to see how the country looks, the tourist attraction, attraction in the country, tourist centers, and what have you. That is what these fans and players will be coming for. And to tell you the truth, whenever you are hosting an event, definitely the economy of that particular country is bound to at least experience some changes. We remember Nigeria '99, when Nigeria hosted the world in 1999. We saw how our economy increased, how our economy was boosted, and I think that is what we are still looking after for. But this time around, we were not given the right to host the 2025 and the 2027 AFCON. Like I said, we still have the opportunity to bid for the 2029 AFCON. If they want to bid, they should continue bidding until they are given the hosting right. Germany hosted the 2006 FIFA World Cup. After 2 trials, they couldn't get it, but they were given the nod to host the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Also, for the first time, Africa hosted the World Cup. That is the South Africa 2010. So we'll say Nigerians should continue putting in their bid there. One day, they will surely get the hosting right. Let's not forget that in 2000, Nigeria and Ghana, 2000, we co-hosted with Ghana, and we got to the final, we lost to Cameroon. In 1980, the same thing, but this time around, I think Nigeria should look inward and just go without joining any other country. Just go there and say, okay, put your hand on the chest, just like what Morocco is doing, and host the Mundial for yourself. You can say Nigeria 2029. AFCON 2029 to happen in Nigeria without not naming it after another country. So, but that is what it is. Morocco now will be the host of the 2025 AFCON after the one that will happen in Cote d'Ivoire come next year, 2024. Okay, let's leave that story and go straight to Germany, where the DFB Poker Cup game continued, and this time around we just had one game on Wednesday where SV Wiesbaden lost at home to RB Leipzig 3-2. It ended. They continued. They joined the likes of Bayern Munich, Werder Bremen, another team who has gotten to the next round of that particular competition right there in Germany. Okay, so let's take this one. Let's go straight to England, where the EFL Cup games continued on Thursday, and we had a shocker. One of the shocker was Man City out of the EFL Cup. Okay, we have the result on the screen. Let's go over the result one after the other. Aston Villa lost at home to Everton 2-1 at Villa Park. They were beaten, and Everton, I think this will give them the morale booster for the weekend games, because Everton has not started this. They've not been doing well at all since the season started. And for Blackburn Rovers against another championship team, 5-2 it ended. 5-2 against Cardiff City. That is the team of Jamilu Collins right there in the championship. Blackburn Rovers had to raise their bar by putting 5 past Cardiff City. And then a Premier League team, AFC Bournemouth, 2 against Stoke City. Stoke 0-2 for Bournemouth at home. And Brentford lost at home to Arsenal 1-0. It ended. Let's not forget that David Raya is now with Arsenal. That is former Brentford goalkeeper. Now we now have Chelsea, at least a sigh of relief for Chelsea fans, Chelsea players, and Mauricio Pochettino. Maybe after they signed that front shed deal, worth £40 million, I think that has brought them luck against Brighton. 1-0 it ended at Stamford Bridge. Then Fulham, Alexi Iwobi, the Nigerian, the Super Eagles player, getting the second goal in the 72nd minute of that encounter against Norwich City. A championship team. 2-1 it ended in favor of Fulham at their stadium right there at Cottage Stadium in London. And then Lincoln City lost at home to West Ham United 1-0. Liverpool trashed Leicester City 3-1, and Newcastle United, like I said, caused the biggest upset of the night against Manchester City. 1-0 it ended. And for Newcastle United, they are now rubbing shoulders with the big boys. They were formerly big boys in England when it comes to the Premier League, but for some years they didn't actually get it right, but now they are getting it right. So if you look at it, Newcastle United beat Manchester City, the defending champions of the EPL Champions League winner, FA Cup winner, they won the treble last season, but now they've lost one cup. Okay, that is now after the round of matches, the third round of matches, we now have the fourth round draw. As you can see on your screen, we have Mansfield against Port Vale. That's for the fourth round. We have Ipswich Town against Fulham. We have Man United against Newcastle. Now the two Manchester teams will be now they defeated Manchester City, and now the second Manchester team, that is Manchester United, will be facing Newcastle United in the fourth round. We have Bournemouth against Liverpool. These two games, all of the teams are Premier League teams. Chelsea against Blackburn, a team that beat Cardiff City 5-2. Then West Ham against Arsenal. Now, that is a derby again in the EFL Cup, because West Ham and Arsenal, all of them are in London. So, it's a derby game in the EFL Cup. And then we have Everton will take on another Premier League team, Burnley, after they also won their game in the third round of the EFL Cup. And then we have Exeter City against Middlesbrough. This is how the fourth round of the EFL Cup will look like. Manchester United against Newcastle, Ipswich against Fulham, Mansfield against Port Vale, Bournemouth against Liverpool, Chelsea against Blackburn, West Ham will battle Arsenal, and Everton will trade tackles with Burnley, and Exeter City against Middlesbrough. That is how it is in the fourth round of the EFL Cup. Okay, that is it for Manchester United. Well, let's see if they can help Manchester City to avenge that loss against Newcastle United. We know that Manchester United has not been doing well since the beginning of the season, where signs of good things are beginning to happen after they beat Crystal Palace in the third round of the EFL 3-0 at Old Trafford. Let's see, this time around they will still be in Old Trafford when they take on Newcastle United. Okay, let's leave the EFL Cup games in England and go straight to La Liga, where we have some matches that went down on Wednesday in La Liga, and then actions will continue in La Liga also over the weekend. Now, these are some results, some games in La Liga that went down on Wednesday night. We have Athletic Bilbao against Getafe, 2-2 it ended. We have Real Madrid against Las Palmas coming back to winning ways after they lost to Atletico Madrid over the weekend. 2-0 it ended at Bernabeu, the refurbished and the rebranded, renewed Bernabeu. Then Villarreal lost at home to Girona, table toppers 2-1. Cadiz 0, Rayo Vallecano 0. Cadiz actually paid tribute to Mubad in that particular encounter, naming a jersey after Mubad. And then we have Valencia, they lost at home to Real Sociedad. That's some games in the La Liga, and then we have the table. Girona, surprisingly, are now topping the La Liga table with 19 points after 7 games with 10 goal difference. We have Real Madrid on the second position after 7 games with 18 points. They leapfrog Barcelona, who are third on the log with 17 points after 7 games. We have Athletic Bilbao fourth after 7 games, have 14 points. Real Sociedad have 12 points, occupying the 5th position. Rayo Vallecano on the 6th position, having 11 points, and then we have Atletico Madrid on the 7th position with 10 points. We have Valencia on the 8th position. Valencia lost their game. We have Valencia on the 8th position with 10 points, and we have Cadiz on the 9th position with 9 points. We have Getafe on the 10th position with 8 points. Okay, let's have the second half of the table quickly. We have Real Betis against Real Betis on the 11th position with 8 points. Sevilla on the 12th position with 7 points, and 18th is occupied by Celta Vigo with 14 points. Granada on the 19th position with 3 points, and Almeria just have 2 points, occupying the 20th position. And okay, before we go quickly, let's take this transfer news. It concerns Roma. Roma are trying to see how they can buy every player that is available for them, and for Jose Mourinho, this player played under him when he was in Tottenham. Now they are keen on signing England Eric Dyer from Tottenham. This is a fantastic player, and for Mourinho, he's also a fantastic and good coach. Now he wants to see how he can prize or snap Eric Dyer away from Tottenham. And that is where we'll leave it on the show Sports Update this evening. I am Emmanuel Fashimi saying thanks for watching.